I don't know if you've seen this in terms of stats, because I've always liked to look at stats. I have access to a lot of stats as well. And being able to see, like, I'll go lurking if I see a show that's like doing really well or something like that. And I want to see like what their numbers are, or if they're being featured in Apple Podcasts, I want to see what those numbers are. But I'm not curious about the numbers that are when they're being featured. I'm curious about the other numbers after they're being featured. So then like I will look at those numbers, like let's say they're featured in February, and I'll just make a little note for myself, and I'll go back and check in 3-4 months later. And it's always the same. You see this gigantic spike that tells you exactly how long they were featured in Apple Podcasts. And then you see the same exact drop right afterwards.
Wow.
Unless there's an X factor. What's
the X factor?
The X factor usually has to do with the quality of the content, and also the relevance of the topic at that time, which we can't know what that's going to be like. One of my favorite shows way back was Pantsuit Politics. And they started with Libsyn way back. And they started their show, I think, at the end of 2015, if I'm correct. Right before the election. And the concept for Pantsuit Politics is that it was one Republican, one Democrat. And at that time, too, they had a little thing that they said it was nuanced conversation. So they were really deep into kind conversation with each other, super smart. Both of them are amazing. And they were just talking with each other in a way that we often don't hear, let alone women talking like this in a civilized manner, in depth about politics from two completely different points of view in one show and not yelling at each other, right? So all of that stuff was like, but when it started, obviously it was like really intriguing. But then the election, the whole thing started to happen. And the need for them, for that voice was so just magic that it just catapulted them and continued to, and mind you, they're really good at what they're doing. So it's not like, they're fantastic. But the timing of that, you could not have timed it better, right? And without knowledge of what was going to happen in our world at that time. So the necessity for them was so huge. And that's an X factor that I've seen time and time again with a lot of shows that come out there. It's the right time, the right topic, and culture needs it at that time. The world needs this. And oftentimes that can't be repeated in that same way. Exactly. You can't just like, let's do another politics podcast, because it won't really have that same thing as when it first started that way.